this whole business of philanthropy, who are the buyers and who are the sellers? Sounds like a simple question, but for us, sometimes we look at the buyers at two levels. The person who makes the money available for you to do your work, and the community that you're trying to help. There is a tension there. Because this also ties back to this whole issue of storytelling and the methodology that you're using in doing your work. If we are able to practically address that question of who the buyer, and I'm talking now from a market perspective, which I'm sure is not totally acceptable within this room, but we need to also look at it that way. If we say that the philanthropy business is a marketplace, we are certain that we are the sellers, but who are our buyers? Because in the marketplace, it's about the seller engaging the buyer.
How do we capture what goes on? And we talked about the written form, but we said there are success stories which are not documented. So social justice is addressed, possibly not in the formal way in which we would recognize it because it's out there, but it happens nonetheless. So if we could find a way of capturing how, in the process of the philanthropy that the community foundations are doing, that they're also dealing with social justice issues. If there was a way to bridge or capture that.
So in reality, what does a community foundation mean to that person who suffers racist, gender, and sexual abuse in his or her purported community? Or who suffers economic exploitation and exclusion? And what does community mean to that person? What does community mean to you if you're excluded socially?
Is there a difference between a social justice agenda and a developmental agenda? And that will define our strategies towards how we then respond to that. And really, this is like a distinction between your formal rights and your substantive. And I'm thinking maybe in our context, we need to get a clearer understanding of what we mean by a social justice agenda. Because essentially, at the end of the day, if we answer that question, philanthropy for what? It's really about the transformation of societies for better, this, that, and the other. And that means philanthropies or philanthropic institutions putting their heads on the block on issues. And in more cases, they don't do it. The people that do that are the trade unions and so forth and so on. The reason being, trade unions are anchored on people, on memberships. And that's people's power talking. And philanthropy is a different issue altogether.